Good morning. I am Reverend Penny Honey. Welcome to the Namaste Village experience. Take a breath. It's been a little busy in this room this morning. Feel that? Yeah. So I invite you in, and we're sending love to all these amazing people that make this happen. Yes, yes. So welcome again. I am Reverend Penny Honey. I always feel a little torn between looking at the folks in the room and looking at this screen. So I appreciate your patience with me. I used to tell my, thank you. I used to tell my choir children, I had about 60 kids between the age of 4 and 14, and we'd stand them in front of 850 people, and I would remind them, everybody in the room loves you. The only ones that don't just don't know you yet. So I offer that to you this morning. Thank you. I am going to attempt to say Happy Day of the Dead. My good old Midwestern Irish girl, we'll see how she does. All right. Feliz Dia de los Muertos. Nobody's throwing tomatoes. We must have done okay. Gracias. How do we honor those that have gone before us? How do we do that? I love this day of celebration, of remembering, not only those that we actually remember, but those that have gone so long before us. I like to remind myself that I stand on the shoulders of those folks. We stand in the knowing and the wisdom and the mistakes. And I'm grateful for that. And this morning, as I was sitting with this, I was thinking, I know, the best way for me to honor those folks that I have loved so dearly and are still so present in my life is to love, is to be of love. We're in a little tumultuous time right now, aren't we? You feel it on the planet? And I don't just mean in this nation, I mean across our planet. So take that in for a moment. And to honor those that have gone before us, to exercise and to be present to the love that is always there. I like to remind myself that in the passing of those that I love, they have reminded me and taught me that love transcends all dimensions. It reaches across every gap that we may imagine, and it transforms and it touches us. And in this remembering, we no longer have to be sad in the physical loss. And as James reminded us, there is no death. What we can do is we can transform the way that we love this new energy entity that we called grandma, that we called auntie, that we called mom, that we called dad, that we called friend. We get to transform it. And we are reminded that that love transcends all levels. And with that energy that we're feeling, I knew this was going to happen. I thought I could keep my hands down, but that just isn't going to happen. It's enough to keep me in a chair. And I appreciate you. So in this time that we're experiencing this and we're feeling this, we feel it. Let's stop for a moment and be in gratitude about that we are feeling it, that we are alive and connected enough that we feel it. So for a moment, I invite you to give thanks around that. I can feel the angst on the planet. I can feel the separation or the appearance of it. And I am grateful that I am alive and I am awake to feel that. And then I invite you into recognizing that if you are holding anything that is bringing you disdain, despair, fear, sadness. Let's do the honor of loving those that have gone before us to remember that this is temporary, that God, or whatever you call it, is bigger than this. And we are going to commit as a people, as a humankind, to remember, as Rumi told us, love is the bridge between you and everything, but only everything, right? And in this remembering, I invite you into this. For the next few days, when something comes up, and it shows up, and it will, I can guarantee that. There's not a whole lot that I can guarantee, but I will guarantee that things will come up in our lives. I encourage you to practice this. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Whatever is bringing you disdain or disconnect or fear or sadness, 2 minutes. Send it love. Now, that is really easy sitting right here in this chair because I have a full belly. I have a room full of amazing people. I have an amazing Zoom room, right? It's easy sitting right here, isn't it? And then life happens. So in that 2 minutes, as you're sending love, this is what I've learned. Love can be sent through gritted teeth. It can be sent through fear. It can be sent through disdain and disconnect. That's the invitation. 2 minutes is not very long. Stand at your microwave and push in 2 minutes. It's not very long, is it? Well, unless you're really hungry or that coffee just isn't getting warm enough fast enough, right? So let's do that now. Let's take 2 minutes. I want you to bring into your mind's eye something, someone, a situation, a condition that is bringing you disdain or fear or sadness. Bring it in. Bring it in. All right, now come on. Come on in here. I'm going to love you right now. That's what I'm going to do. I'm bringing you in and I'm going to love you right now. And for 2 minutes, who wants to time this for me? Somebody got 2 minutes? Can you count 2 minutes? Thank you. I appreciate that, Jet. Deep breath. Here we go. We are sending love. 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 Hmm. Come back to me, friends, in this space. What can happen in the face of love is a few things. Actually, there's a lot of things, right? But some that come to mind is this: love transforms. So when we send love to that which is bringing us whatever it is that separates us from knowing our divinity, when we send love, we send the power of transformation. Or when we send love, it may be rejected. Or when we send love, there may be a great connecting and coming together. Any of those choices, we all win. We all win if we reject the power of that which is not serving us. We all win if we transform that which separates us into a greater and higher vibration. We all win. We all win when there's a coming together and a connecting. My friends, we have a few big days ahead of us. Let's send love. I have a personal story, and then Calico, if you're willing, honey, I'd love to have you join us this morning and have your input. This personal story is about a former partner I had, and he was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And I have the right to share this story and the permission. I have a hard time saying the word permission, I noticed. When he was diagnosed, we made a conscious decision. And this was our choice. Everyone has one. We weren't going to fight cancer. What we were going to do was we were going to love it out of our lives every day. Every day, we gave thanks and said, "Come over here, cancer. We want to love you. And we want to love you out of our lives. And we're going to get the blessing that you came to give us. And then you can go on down the road." So the oncologist had told us that there would be 8 to 12 chemotherapy treatments every 3 weeks, 8.5 hours. And I said to the oncologist, "Humor us. Let's do a PET scan at 6. Just humor us." He said, "That won't do a thing." All right, I get that, but just humor us. Now, I am not saying that I have some magic wand or that my partner and I hit on the cure for cancer. Don't hear me say that. What I am saying is we had a different experience because we decided to embrace that cancer and love it out of our lives rather than fight it. And what we noticed happened was this: at 6 chemotherapy treatments, we did a PET scan. And the oncologist called us into his office, and I could already hear how he was going to be boasting that he was right and we needed more. And as we sat in front of him, he said, "Well, you won this one." I said, "Well, funny thing is, we weren't fighting." He said, "You're done. Your chemotherapy is complete. There is no sign of cancer in your body." We loved it out of our lives. And the sooner we were able to embrace it and get the lesson that it brought to us, we could send it down the road. Consider that while you're sending love to that which brings you separation or fear. Consider that, my friends. Calico, we'd love to hear from you. Are you there, dear?
I am. I am. Thank you so much for that share. It goes along with what's been in, it started with James talking about the election, and I don't usually give politics too much focus. But I really was able to look at, and this goes in what you were saying, fighting anything, fighting anything is futile. It's just futile. And one of the things, you know, I was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic cancer 13 years ago. And I was in hospice for a while. And then I finally graduated hospice because I realized it wasn't where I needed to be. And, at this point in my life, I am so grateful for having cancer. I am more grateful for having cancer because it moved me to the peace of mind that I have now that I really don't think I could have achieved without the cancer. And so you can look at anything, I keep thinking of, James talking about the elections and voting and, it's, don't fight it. Whoever's going to get elected is going to get elected. It's going to be perfect for some and not good for others. We can make it mean whatever, but the reality is it's all perfect if I allow it. If I fight it, like you said, Penny, it's just separation. It's just more separation. So it's embracing whatever is, and everyone's path is different. Like you said, Penny, I'm not saying you have to love cancer. I'm not saying you have to love whoever's elected. It's your path, and you know your mind better than anyone else. What's creating conflict is what needs to be embraced. And it may take some time before you get to the point of being grateful for that which you now see as being separated. And all I can say is to stay with it. And my guide is Holy Spirit. I call it Holy Spirit. It's just the entity, my right mind, that tells me when I'm getting into a bad neighborhood in my mind. And it's like, okay, it's time to, see this differently, Calico. This will bring you nothing but pain. I pulled up this morning, there's 2 sentences from chapter 29 in the Course in Miracles, and it's seek not outside yourself. And it kind of goes along with what we're talking about here. For all your pain comes simply from a futile search for what you want instead of where it must be found. What if it is not there? Do you prefer that you be right or happy? And, this is, when I got the cancer diagnosis, I can't say I embraced it immediately. In fact, I fought it like crazy. It was like, oh my God, how can this be? This is not right. I've got to do something. But the reality was, it was me thinking I knew what cancer was. It was bad. It was icky. It was going to lead to something icky. And it's like, and it comes back to, do I want to be right or happy? And I don't know anything. Of course, Jesus tells us, I don't know how many, I've never looked at how many times it says, you know nothing, I know nothing, I know nothing throughout the book. And it really is, as soon as I see something that I have labeled as not good, I'm separating. And it's going to cause me great pain because I'm looking outside of myself for the peace that I want inside. And so it's turning it around and looking inside for that peace and not labeling anything outside of myself as bad. It's the voting, the election. Yeah, some people will like who gets elected, other people will not like who gets elected. And all I can say is don't judge it. And that's really hard to do. I'll be the first one to say I call it, like, I used to ride a lot of horses, and I call it riding a bucking bronc. Okay. When you embrace what feels very bad in your mind. And it's like, hang on, grab that horn and you just hang on, no matter how hard that horse is bucking, you stay in the saddle. Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. And I've been on a lot of, I mean, it took me 10 years to embrace cancer. It wasn't like it was just one thought was cleared in, one session. It was like every time I had any thought that came up, this is not okay. Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. Oh no, there it is again. I don't like what's happening to me. Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. It's a practice. It's a mystical practice. That's all I know. And if you're willing to stay with it, there's huge reward, huge reward. And for me, the reward is truly a peace beyond any understanding that I've ever had of peace. I had an ego's definition of peace, but the peace I have now is really profound peace, deep peace. And I don't have to judge it because it's all encompassing. So I go back to the first lesson we had this week because yeah, I've been thinking about it all week. You have to understand, ooh, I was a rabid political being at one point in my life. I had the way it should be. And I would tell as many people as possible, I like you, Penny, I'm Irish. I mean, I don't hold back, man. If I believe something, you're going to hear it. Well, I had to really unlearn all of that and just not judge anything, not judge anything that was happening to me, not to judge anything that was happening to you. It's like that's where love goes way beyond my idea of what's good and bad. My idea of what's good and bad keeps me in the hamster wheel of searching for something that I don't have. And so yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful day. And I invite all of you to just enjoy your day and the beauty that you can see within it. And if you happen to have a thought about something that isn't happy, Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. And then move on. I don't even give it 2 minutes, Penny. I give it, my one question. I'll be walking down the road and there'll be someone, there'll be a panhandler and I'll start feeling sorry for them. And I'll just go, Holy Spirit, help me see them differently. They may be the happiest, most peaceful person on the planet, but I'm already projecting how they must be miserable because they have to panhandle for money. So it's kind of like just keep on top of what you're thinking. That's the hardest part, is to see what you're thinking and own it. Oh, yeah, I'm making them wrong. I'm making them poor. I'm making them sick. I'm making them whatever in my mind. And it's for me to pull back that thought and go, oh, no, no, Holy Spirit, I know you can see this differently because God doesn't care if I'm broken and disfigured according to my feelings of beauty. God just loves. And that's why I love God, because God just loves. And this whole process spoken about by Jesus in the Course in Miracles is how to love, period. No exceptions ever. So thank you, Penny, for this. Was a fabulous lead in. Muchas
Thank,
gracias.
thank you. And Vicky's not with us today, is that correct? That's what I was told. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Calico. Yeah, God is just love. And I am a divine child of that. So I commend you, Calico, that you can just do it that quickly. I need 2 minutes. I need 2 minutes to settle in and to truly, first of all, remember that I am love. I can only be love. I am present to the love that I am. It's the expression that can get a little twisted sometimes, come out a little sideways. And that is where I encourage you to take a breath, take it in, 2 minutes, send love toward whatever, inward, wherever it needs to go to heal that moment of separation that you're feeling. And Calico, I appreciate you reminding us, Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. And I tend to say now, let me see it differently. For when I am willing, to see the divinity in you and remember the divinity in me, we can heal all things. Now, take a breath. Earlier, I said we have some big days ahead of us, and I'm going to retract that.
Mhm.
What we have is we have days ahead of us that give us the opportunity. Yeah. Like Mother Teresa said, I know God will never give me more than I can handle. I just wish he didn't have so much confidence in me. We will have days that will give us the opportunity to remember that we are love. This is the core of who we are. And that love truly is the bridge between me and everything. 2 minutes is what I encourage this week. 2 minutes. Send love. I appreciate you and thank you for making me feel so welcome here. Thank you. And I am honored to get to be the minister here this month in November. So I'll be seeing you on Sundays also. So be sure and join us for that. Now, you told me something I was supposed to do, and I'm not remembering. There we go. Here we go. Of course it's on. Amen.
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 Amen. Gracias, my friends. Namaste. Have a blessed day.